Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. First of all, I hope you've been doing great, and I hope you're not avoiding the difficult situations that we can often find ourselves in, whether we like it or not. So, today let's speak exactly about that. Today I want to speak about discomfort because I think discomfort is misunderstood. I think most often we tend to think that discomfort is our enemy, and that in a sense the discomfort we find in our life is like the very rough sea that we're almost drowning in. But what if discomfort was actually the helping hand grabbing you and pulling you out of the sea? I will be the first one to tell you that whenever you find yourself in uncomfortable situations, running towards the discomfort, running towards the things that are hard or the things that are sort of making you second guess your choices is not really that easy. But at the end of the day, if you really want to see improvement in your own quality of life, in the quality of life of the people around you, if you want to just generally feel better and avoid problems down the line, and we'll get onto that in a second, you've got to come to face the discomfort in your life. You've got to have the tough conversations with people. You've got to do the actions that you don't want to do, because guess what? If you do not face the discomfort that you're feeling at the moment, if you do not face the discomfort or any uncomfortable situation, eventually all of that thing that you put under the carpet is gonna grow and grow, and it's gonna become a mountain. Eventually, you're not gonna be able to walk over it anymore. Sure, you could say, well, I could walk around it, but are you just gonna ignore the elephant in the room then? Are you just gonna ignore that one thing that's really sticking out and you're like, but I kind of don't feel like doing it? Now, discomfort comes in many ways. Discomfort can come in training, in running. It can come in trying to meditate, but your brain is fucking going anywhere. But discomfort can also come in actions that we are supposed to do and aren't particularly feeling like it. Discomfort can especially come in tough conversations that you might need to have with people. Discomfort can really come in many ways, and most importantly, it also comes and is felt more often whenever you're starting something new, whenever you're really pushing your comfort zone, whenever you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So let's say that you want to try and speak to people that you don't particularly know, you want to try to cold approach someone or anything of that sort. Obviously, you're gonna feel uncomfortable in many situations. If you've got to have a tough conversation with someone, obviously it's gonna feel uncomfortable. But you know what? If there is one thing that I've come to learn over the last few years, is that the discomfort that we often feel in our lives is really not our enemy. And if there is one example that I can give you, and a fucking obvious example as well, it comes from training in the gym. You know, discomfort in the gym is something that you're gonna feel. Obviously, you start to like it eventually if you stay consistent, but whenever you're getting started, you know, lifting weights is not the easiest of things. Sure, it's not even the hardest of things, but lifting weights is not the easiest thing. You're gonna feel discomfort in your muscles. If you're like doing bench press, or you're doing dips, or you're doing legs, you're doing squats, anything of that sort, you're gonna feel some discomfort. You're gonna feel some physical pain in a sense. You're gonna feel some uncomfortable feeling in your muscles. But if you're looking at the discomfort that you feel, if you're looking at the physical pain that you feel, at the awkward feeling of stepping in the gym for the first time and you're like, fuck, everyone's bigger than me, and you feel awkward about that. If there is one thing that I learned over the last few years of working out and running, even though I've been running only for almost a year, but if there is one thing that I learned from especially working out and running put together, is that the same discomfort that you need to face in order to grow a muscle, because how do you grow muscles at the end of the day? You go to the gym, you create micro tears in your muscles, and then the muscles recover and grow bigger. The same discomfort that you have to come to face in the gym in order to grow muscles also applies to anything else in your life. If you really want to improve and you really want to start to see progress in quality of life of yourself and people around you, you've got to face the uncomfortable situations. You've got to face the things that you don't particularly want to feel. You've got to face the things that you don't particularly want to face as well. Because I'll be the first one to put my hands up and say that when I had, in October, the month where I had to approach random people and try to speak to girls and other guys and this and that, you know how fucking awkward it felt? And it still feels awkward to this day. Sometimes it feels awkward even talking to your parents, I'm not gonna lie. Just because something feels awkward, uncomfortable, or just you don't particularly want to be bothered with it, doesn't mean that it's something that you should be running away from. Especially because, like I said before, if you keep putting things under the carpet, eventually they'll come back and bite you in the ass. You know, if it is related to people that you have in your life and you're avoiding a tough conversation with someone, that can build up resentment. And I'm sure it doesn't take a genius to understand that resentment isn't really a good thing if you're trying to create a better situation with someone, if you're trying to create a better relationship with someone. So the only thing that I can suggest to you is, whether it is a family member, whether it is your own partner, whether it is a friend, whether it is anyone, go and have that tough conversation. Go and face the thing that you don't particularly want to face. Go and do the thing that you really don't want to do. Because, like I said before, the same way that you come to grow muscles, that you have to create micro tears and then let them recover, and you have to put the muscle under an uncomfortable situation because, well, it's physical pain in a sense and micro tears. The same way applies to everything else in your life. You know, it's the same as growing a personal brand like this one by recording videos. Sometimes I don't feel like it, sometimes I'm not in the best mindset, sometimes it feels awkward, sometimes there's a lot of things that stack up against it. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to put yourself in that situation to say, you know what, sure, there's a lot of things that are working against me, but I'm gonna just try my best to actually go and face this thing here that I don't want to do. And you want to know what the funniest part of this topic of discomfort is that I've never really regretted doing something that felt uncomfortable. I've never really regretted trying to speak to someone that I didn't know. I've never really regretted having that tough conversation with someone. I've never really regretted actually doing the work and pursuing my own goals. I've never really regretted going to the gym. Actually, quite the opposite. I always felt much better after doing that thing that I really didn't want to do. Because, you know, if it's something that you don't want to do and you actually do not do it, it's gonna stay there in your mind, and eventually it's gonna keep on growing and growing, and you're gonna think about it. You might be able to ignore it for some time, but I doubt you'll be able to ignore it forever. And eventually that thing is gonna come bite you back in the ass, and it's gonna come like a truck. It's not gonna come like a slight poke. It's gonna come like a slap in the face, or a train, or anything of that sort. So the moral of the story for today is to simply not avoid discomfort, is to go and actually do the thing that sucks. Go and have the tough conversation again. Go and do the things you don't want to do. And most importantly, be honest to yourself about it. Look at yourself in the mirror for a bit. Tell yourself, you know, I really don't feel like doing this. I really feel like shit about doing this. I really feel anxious. I really feel stressed. I really feel emotionally unstable. I feel all kinds of things. But you know what? I will try my best to actually go and do it. And then I'll think about it afterwards. Because, like I said, most often you'll find yourself that after facing an uncomfortable situation, after facing anything that you really don't want to do, you'll probably find yourself in a much happier state than you were beforehand. You'll find yourself in a much more relaxed state than you were beforehand. And most importantly, you'll be able to hopefully avoid having issues down the line. And with that said, I hope you found today's video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. There's other links in the description if you want to follow me and so on. And with that said, I will see you tomorrow with a new video. And please do not avoid the tough things in life. Actually, run towards them, not away from them. Have a good day, mate.